Hello there, and welcome to the Free West Media YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to us. Click on the subscription box in the lower right-hand corner, as well as the bell symbol so that you can get notifications of our future videos. Well, and this morning I'm fortunate again to be speaking to Unathi Kwaza. We're going to talk a little bit about Leon Schuster and the Showmax investigation, or even a ban, a suspension of his videos. We're going to start off with that and see where the conversation goes. Morning, Unathi.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm great, and you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you still in Cape Town?
Yes, I'm back in Cape Town. I was in Joburg for a week 2 weeks ago, and it was a lovely time that I had, and I met a lot of Twitter friends. I mean, I call them friends now because it seems that we think the same way. We all want this country to work, and so we met and had a few chats.
Oh, well, that sounds excellent. Yes, well, I think
Yeah,
the kind of conservative movement in South Africa is growing. Even
absolutely.
yes, even though there are still these radical leftists around and they're in the media and at the universities and everywhere, but we are fighting them and hopefully we'll win in the end.
Absolutely.
So yes, what you mentioned old Leon Schuster and Showmax.
Yes. I was disgusted when I saw on Twitter that Showmax had decided to cancel his all his films. I mean, if you know Leon Schuster, you'll know that he's been with us for the longest time in the entertainment industry, and he's a humble guy, hardworking, a proud South African, and you can see that from the movies that he makes, that he has an interest in people and how people live, be it black people, white people, or colored people, and he's managed with his art to bring in black actors, colored actors, white Africans. Sometimes he would himself make, portray a black person. That's all art, and art is supposed to entertain us, and at times art is supposed to make us think about whatever the issue is being raised in a film. So for Showmax executives to come now and say they think that Leon Schuster's work is offensive to black people is actually an insult to black people. I'll speak as a black person here. I'm not much of a big fan of Leon Schuster's films, um, but I know that he's got a great following, a big following in the black communities. From way back, people think of Leon Schuster in the early 90s or so, and some children grew up. I mean, some who were born in, let's say, 1999, 2000 won't know much about him, but I'm sure anyone who's watched the videos from way back will attest to the fact that people love them and people find them funny. So it's an insult to black people to say that now we need permission from Showmax executives to tell us, who are probably white, by the way, to tell us when to laugh, what to think, and how to think. So that's why I call people to just cancel their subscription with Showmax, because um, the last thing we want in South Africa is for freedom of speech to be trampled upon. It's one of the, I think, one of the most important principles and rights that are enshrined in our Bill of Rights, Constitution, and we should shun anyone who messes up with free speech.
Yeah, I perfectly agree with you there. I suppose you could say that there are certain stereotypes in Leon Schuster's films, but I mean, it's a matter of, if the shoe fits, wear it. You know, life is full of
I mean,
stereotypes,
yes, that's
and there's
why.
some meaning attached to stereotypes. I just want to mention to you,
Absolutely.
I was talking to another YouTuber not so long ago, together with Steve Hoffmeyer, germ warfare. You may know about him.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he, prior to the recording, he said, yes, it's getting cold. When Afrikaners start wearing two pairs of shorts, then it's cold. So, I mean, there he was kind of making a joke about Afrikaners and so on. And I mean, there
Yeah.
is some truth to it, because some Afrikaners do wear shorts in the middle of winter. It's
Yes.
a fact. But
Yes.
I'm not offended by that.
Mm.
And why should I be? I don't.
Yes.
If the shoe fits, wear it, kind of thing. So,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's not like you're committing a crime. It's just a stereotype. Some are wrong, some are right, and it's just, for me, it's so nonsensical to even take stereotypes seriously. That unless it's sort of because some stereotypes are tribalist in nature. Unless you don't mean any harm by saying that an Afrikaner will be wearing two shorts in the middle of winter. And I mean, where is the harm there? So I think what happened at Showmax, they're trying to latch on really onto what is happening in the United States, with the statues, with all this nonsense that ignorant young people are doing. By the way, I mean, uh, tell me, how are you going to erase history by removing a statue? By defacing a statue? You're not gonna erase history. History happened. It's a matter of how do you reconcile with it? How do you move forward as a person? So, I mean, today they're saying that this statue must fall. What is next tomorrow? Are they going to say that this university must be demolished because Cecil John Rhodes, for instance, maybe started the university? And the strange part for me, even the hypocrisy of all this, is that most of these young students actually used Cecil's Rhodes money scholarships to go to these universities in London. I mean, even here in South Africa, we had students who went to Oxford University using Rhodes scholarship. So you want his money, but you don't want his statue. Where is the hypocrisy there? Why don't you say no to his money? Why do you even apply for his money if you feel that he's such a bad person? So, and for me, Dan, there's also a danger in trying to, I mean, let's say this person lived to be 50 years old, 60 years old, 70, 80, and the only thing you'll take about a person is just one thing that you think. I mean, take Winnie Madikizela Mandela, for instance. She has a history. She died in her 80s, and that history. Some people, there are things that are good about it. There are things that are bad, like all human beings. So, are you going to tell me that just because there was one thing that she did that you didn't approve of, are you going to say that everything about her should be cancelled? No, I mean, that's not how human beings are. Human beings are complex beings, and that's what I think. That's what makes us interesting as humans. We're not animals. We think. We there's good in us. There's bad in us. So it's Cecil John Rhodes here. It's Winnie Madikizela Mandela. It's Nelson Mandela. Even Nelson Mandela had his shortcomings. For instance, his cabinet. In his cabinet, I feel he could have, for instance, fired Dlamini Zuma when there was that scandal with Sarafina. Taxpayers' money was used in a wrong way, and she lied about it. So Nelson Mandela was supposed to fire her. He didn't. So, but still today, people see Nelson Mandela as a saint, and he himself said that he was not a saint. What I'm trying to say is that human beings have faults. Human beings have good in them. I mean, how many students today have received good education through the Rhodes Scholarship Fund? There's, I mean, thousands of them, and they continue to do so, which is a good thing. So this is someone who is even in his death, his money is being used to contribute to society. So why do we cancel that? why are we saying then that, oh, he was so evil that we really can't stand him? So that's what I am against. And Showmax then is wrong to say that Leon Schuster. I mean, it's so. I made a short video yesterday saying that it's so condescending to me as a black person that these white executives, even if they are black executives, that it doesn't matter. But these white or black bosses are deciding for me as a black person what should make me laugh, when I should laugh, and it's just unacceptable to me.
Yeah, but I would also say that the probably Showmax and MultiChoice, they've seen all these social justice warriors all over the world, with their
Mm,
campaigns, as you say, against the statues and against other movies and books and films and so on. So we kind of living through a new age of censorship, I think, from the
mm,
left, where the social justice
absolutely.
warriors, they are just attacking anything that they don't agree with. And I don't know if you saw, there was another incident over the weekend in the Report newspaper where, and I think it was on News 24 as well, where they found that the Media 24 um, panel, literary panel, was too white or something like that, and they, yeah, and they handed
uh,
out some prizes, but half of those prizes were for Afrikaans books that are
mm,
mainly read by white people. So what do you think of that one?
mm, yeah. So some of the white media people in South Africa also complaining about it. And again, for me as as a proud black person, if the work that I've produced is not good enough to win an award, why would I want my skin color to determine that I must get that award, whether I deserve it or not? I mean, where is the pride in that? I just ask people, where is the pride in that? If I'm going to get a job just because I'm black, I'm not even qualified for it. Um, wouldn't it be great if jobs in South Africa, especially in government, if we got jobs just because we qualified for them and we have experience and we can contribute, instead of getting a job because I'm black, instead of winning an award because I'm black, um, even if my work is just rubbish, because there's a lot of rubbish work out there, and people shouldn't win awards just because they're black. It's an insult to readers. It's an insult to consumers who actually spend their money, because some people will see that, oh, Dan had won an award in 2020, so his work must be good, and yet so that person will make a decision to go buy that book based on that, and yet they find that it's actually rubbish stuff. And it's an insult to black people, it's an insult to consumers, and black people shouldn't win. I mean, this conversation goes back to what is happening in Hollywood. Every time there's Oscar awards or any other Emmy awards and all that, you find these sort of, they call themselves activists, but I don't think they're activists. They're just social justice warriors who always find something offensive about something. And a black actor shouldn't win an award if they didn't work their butts off. Why shouldn't Meryl Streep? We know how good she is, but she's not good in everything. But when she is good, why shouldn't she win? Why shouldn't Nicole Kidman? And if Oprah Winfrey, whenever she portrays a certain character in a film, if she does well, if Queen Latifah does well, if Denzel Washington does well, why shouldn't they win? I'm sure Denzel Washington has, or Sidney Poitier, these are great actors over the years, and they've won awards. I mean, probably not all of them, but when you are going to watch a film with Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman, for instance, or sometimes Will Smith, although I'm not much of a fan of his works, much of his films. But if someone does well, then they should be rewarded. And skin color shouldn't play any role in this. I mean, consumers are not stupid. They will reward you if you're good, and if you're not, and consumers are not going to spend their money just because. I mean, take the South African film industry, especially the movies. Um, People complain that black people don't go watch black films, and could it be that they are not good enough? Could it be that they are? We talked about stereotypes earlier. I don't want to watch gangsters every time there's a black film that comes from South Africa, because there's so many things to black people and how we live, and we're not one people. We have different experiences in life. We grew up differently, so all these stories should be told in films. I don't. If it's a film with a lot of Black Americans, I don't want to be watching anything that has to do with slavery, because those films have been told so many times. So people will reward you for the good work that you do. And if your story is interesting, people will go and watch your film. You don't have to worry that, oh, this is a black film, people are not going to watch. No. I mean, I'm not much of a movie goer, but think about the one that I watched recently, which was 2 years ago, was the documentary about this mother who killed her son, who was struggling with drugs. I just forgot the title now. I mean, it's filmed in a it's based in a colored community, and the film won awards, and the actors there, because they did such a brilliant job, they won awards not because they're colored, because they were good in their craft as actors. So let's stop pacifying black people. Let's stop making black people to stop working hard just because we're saying, oh, you deserve this award because you're black. No, otherwise we're not building a community. We're just destroying people.
Yes, you bring it quite well there, but yeah, these racial quotas just seem to be
Mm,
everywhere. And well, what struck me about the complaint that the journalist and author Fred Kumalu made
mm,
towards Media 24 and the head of their publishing division, a person called Eloise Vessels, who immediately apologized profusely for this and said that next year there was going to be a diverse panel, and they didn't have the intent to discriminate or anything like that. But in his initial complaint and statement, Fred Kumalu, he said, quote unquote, there was a remarkable lack of melanin on the committee. Now, I mean, what do you think of that statement? Are we going to start measuring things by by the amount of melanin there is in the committee,
I
or
mean,
in the book, or what? I mean, don't you find it absurd?
oh my gosh, I didn't see, I mean, I'm surprised that Fred Kumalo is such a brilliant writer and a published author, and I'm shocked, really. I expect such complaints to come from losers in that industry, but he's such a, I mean, I've read some of his books, especially from the early days of his writing, and he's such a brilliant person. I don't know if he was what he spoke as a representative of who exactly. Uh, but I mean, even with black people, I mean, I'm a darker shade of black, and you'll find black people who are as white as you, Dan. And because some of us do have white ancestry in our blood and genes, so that is why you find some. I mean, look at Lindiwe Sisulu; she's as white as they come. Uh, so why then? I mean, if we are going to reduce everything to skin color, then what becomes of our society? Because we're saying that we're building a nation here. A nation is built by people from all walks of life, from different tribes, from different races, and all that. And that's what makes South Africans great. It's because in our diversity, we are able to unite. Look at the Springboks rugby team when they won the World Cup recently. We were all overjoyed when Captain Siya Kolisi lifted that cup for the first time. And I mean, South Africans, oh my goodness, it was such a momentous and great time in our country. Just now we're celebrating 10 years of the World Cup. Think about the World Cup 10 years ago, a soccer World Cup that came to South Africa. South Africans from all walks of life had the most amazing month in June with all the clubs in the world that congregated here, and people watched the best football in the world. I mean, if we are going to reduce everything and make it, there's one a favorite writer of mine, author, Cindy Wemagona. I think the last book I had that she published, it got published. The title was, what's the title? Skin, something about the skin, skin color. But what she, from the interviews I had, her talk at, she was saying that a person's skin color is just a tiny section of who a person is. So, but why do we make race and skin color to be so much more of a human being? A human being is so many facets, has so many facets in them. And so why do we make everything about skin color? You can see me as a white, I mean, as a black person, and I see you as a white person done. And obviously, if I want to get to know you better, I have to move past the fact that you're white. Because if I'm saying that I'm interested in finding out who Dan is, then obviously I have to forget that you're white. I must just listen to what you are telling me, how you grew up, what do you do, and what makes you happy, what makes you tick as a human being. Because those are things that it's possible that I find that, oh, we actually have, if you like, I like gardening. So if another white person likes gardening, then we have something in common. So we should nurture more of the things that make us like things that are of interest to both of us. Things that we both like. I like, some people like winter. I don't like winter. I like summer. I like spring. I like the sun. So there's more things that we are alike about, instead of things that we're not going to change skin color. I mean, being black is not an achievement. That's why when I hear someone say that I'm a black business, or some people on social media will say support black business. No, you should support business, just good business. It doesn't matter. I mean, money doesn't have a skin color. I'm in business myself, and the things that I sell any person can buy them. So you'll never hear me say support small business when I advertise something. No, I'm not going to do that, because I would be limiting my potential to earn an income. So there's
Yes.
always a danger in reducing everything and making it to be about race.
Yeah, you're quite right, and but it's ironic to me that it's now coming from the left. All of these kind of racial stereotypes
No, but they are the
they're
ones who are
making
always.
rules as to what you're supposed to do as a white person or as a black person. If you're white, then you have to apologize all the time. If you're black, you have to be an aggressive social justice warrior. If you're not, then you're not a true black person or something. I mean, it's like Jacob Zuma talking about people having dogs. Didn't he say something about don't be like the whites and have pets, you know? So if you're a black person, you're not allowed to have a pet. it's
I mean,
great.
that's the ridiculousness, and it just shows if someone like Jacob Zuma, with all the things that came out of his mouth, if the ANC could put up that person and be a president of this country, it just shows how little they think of us, firstly as human beings and as South Africans, and how little they think of this country. So that's why everything they do, they are stealing from us. I asked earlier today on Twitter if anyone has heard Ramaphosa having expelled the people who stole the food parcels in the ANC. And no one has heard anything because, I mean, corruption is in the nature of the ANC. Banim Tomoti put it nicely one time in his writings, and he said that corruption is the glue that keeps the ANC together, and it's so true. I mean, the fact that they can kill each other whenever one exposes the other person for stealing. I mean, think about the late Cindy Somakaka when he exposed millions that had been spent in supposed renovation of a town hall, and no such thing had happened, and they killed him. The last time,
When did that
yeah,
happen?
it happened a few years ago now. I'm sure just over 3 years.
But I know in
And
Mpumalanga, you know, they've killed lots of, I mean, within the ANC and
yes,
also in KwaZulu-Natal, they've killed lots of people within
yes,
the party. They've been
this
killing
one
each other.
happened. Yes, this one happened in KwaZulu-Natal because he was councillor that side. I think in Umzimkulu or something, but those provinces that I mean, that's a town closer to, it's now part of KZN, but it used to be part of the Eastern Cape. So, I mean, it happened, and I haven't heard of anyone that has been arrested for it. So corruption is in the nature of the ANC. And when Ramaphosa was campaigning in 2017, he said that he would fight corruption. He was lying through his teeth because, I mean, where would he start? He would have to start with himself, really, because look at the 500,000 that found its way to his son's bank account, and he lied in Parliament about it. So the way I see it, the only way that we'll ever fight corruption in this country is if we got rid of the ANC.
Sorry, what was the last thing that you said?
Oh, I said that the only way we could fight corruption is if we got rid of the ANC.
Oh, yes, yeah. I certainly agree with you there. Well, we must still have that conversation about corruption sometime, just focusing on all the various
Yeah.
issues there. But thanks very much for this chat about Leon Schuster and, you know, art and freedom of expression and stereotypes and so on. And I'm sure many of the viewers will find it interesting too, and you know, to have an honest discussion about those issues that are just being driven by all these social justice warriors, and we never have the opportunity to talk about it intelligently. And I must thank you for that.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's a great pleasure. And to our viewers, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And we look forward to having you again on the channel. Thanks.